Hello everyone, welcome back in civics classes. We were going on with chapter number 2 and you have studied about President of India, election, term of office, qualifications and impeachment, vacation of seats. These topics already we have discussed, and today we are going to discuss important topic, that is power and functions of President of India. And this topic may have complete 10-mark question in board examination, and different kind of powers and functions may be concerned in that question. Diplomatic power, maybe legislative powers, maybe executive powers, military powers, judicial powers, discretionary powers, emergency powers. Many powers are there of president, and these four means three kind of questions they may concern, three kind of power they may concern in 10 marks. So without wasting time, I would like to say one more time that you have to complete the question answers, as a few students were asking for all the answers of this exercise. So I have suggested in starting, again I am suggesting that you have to go through the concepts and you have to find the answers. And if you are finding the problem in any particular answer, then I can answer, as I have given to one student who have concerned particular question from history chapter number 2, question number 3 A part he has concerned, so I have given the answer. So like this I can give the answer, but it is not possible to give all the answers to all the students. So that's why I said that you go through the chapter, find out the answer, and while you are finding out the answer, you will go through that concept, because that in board exam that questions are asked on the base of concept, not the same questions are repeated which are there in your book. But these questions are containing near about whole syllabus, so that's why we are completing these questions in history and civics as well as in geography. So student, without wasting time, I would like to go for the topic, but one more thing, that next week you are going to get your project work. So history and geography project should be standard one and according to board level. So this thing I am repeating once again, I have told one more time, I am preparing you mentally so that you can prepare that which kind of project should be there. So now we are going to discuss today's topic without delay. Already we have discussed a lot. So today's topic is power and functions of the President of India. And first topic or first kind of power which I am going to discuss today, that is executive power. Executive, you know well, means administration. So as we know that President is that head of a union administration. What does it mean? It means that President is a whole soul in administration. Means we can say so that with the advice of Prime Minister, President can appoints all the officials. In this, Prime Minister is also included, and Council of Ministers is also included, and majority group who is getting majority in Parliament, that is appointed as the Prime Minister by the President. And after the advice of Prime Minister, he can advise Council of he can appoint Council of Ministers. So student, for the more reference, you can go through on your book on page number 182. So we are discussing that executive powers of President. So in the same series, Chief Justice of India, judges of High Court and Supreme Court, Governor of the states, Lieutenant Governor of Union Territories, and Chief Election Commissioners, and Attorney General, Comptroller and Auditor General, Chairman and members of UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, Chairman and members of Planning Commission, Chairman and members of Economic Commissions, whenever appointed. So all these chairmans, members are appointed by the President, and mind it, on the advice of Prime Minister. So clear what I said? Or we can say Council of Ministers according to 42nd Amendment of Constitution. So now we are going to discuss point number 3 and 4. So point number 3 and 4, control over state government. So usually that President having control over state governments, during the President rule, full control over the state, means that state assembly is dissolved and union parliament is working as the assembly for the state, and President is sending the bill for the states, and that is final one for the state. So students, now we are going to discuss fourth point about union territories and border areas. So about UT, I have told already that Lieutenant Governor is appointed by the President, and directly they are answering to the President. And one more thing about border areas. Border areas are directly under control of President, because that President is the supreme commander of uh, all the forces of India, like Air Force, Navy, and Army. So responsibility of UT and border areas are in the hand of President, because border areas administration is done by military or that Navy or Air Force. So they are under control of President. So indirectly that President is controlling over the border areas as well as UT or Union Territories. As I told you, that Lieutenant Governors are appointed by the President. So now I am going to discuss about second point, diplomatic power. So what is diplomatic powers? Means all the ambassadors which are appointed in different countries by India, those are appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister. Another thing that receives that ambassadors, high commissioners, diplomatic envoys and foreign nations, from foreign nations. So any delegation is coming from any other country to India, then that will received by the President, or in the name of President, Prime Minister may receive those delegations, diplomats or envoys or ambassadors from different country. So all these are received in the name of President only, because President is having the authority, or diplomatic powers are in the hand of President only. So all the treaties on the international ground, or agreements which are made, or pacts which are made on international ground, that is done in the name of President, because President is the head of Union of India. So what does it mean? It means that Prime Minister may do the deal, but in the name of President. So name is there of the President only in all the deals, international deals which are done by India. So next one we are going to discuss, President represent India in international conferences. So either President is going or not going, it is not a matter. Either that Prime Minister or that Defense Minister or any other minister is going to attend the conference. All that conferences are attended on the name of President of India. Means all these official information are being shared by the President only, because President is the head of Union of India. So now we are going to discuss about legislative powers. First point is given in a book, that is not in the slide. Address session of the Parliament. So this is very important one, that both houses can be assembled together by the President in the first session after general election, and he is addressing to the both houses together. And in his address he emphasizes on that internal and external policy of government. Means this address is prepared by that ruling party, and they are preparing this keeping in mind their policy and their manifesto on which they have took part in the election. So we can say so that address sessions of Parliament are addressed by the President, and this address is prepared by the ruling party, in which their internal and external policies of the government are being explained by the President of India. So I hope this is clear. So House of Parliament is having joint sitting. So now we are going to discuss about messages to Parliament. So if Prime Minister thinks so that need to give any message to the Parliament, then he can give it with the help of Council of Ministers, and Prime Minister is linked with that Council of Ministers and the President. And he can also keep pending the bills if he thinks so that any problem is there in particular bill. So he is having that right to withhold the bill in his hand, or he is having that power to send message, as I told, with the help of Prime Minister, because Prime Minister is the link with that Council of Ministers and the President. So next we are going to discuss summon and prorogue the houses. So summons and prorogue the houses means, summon means calling that sessions. So President can call the sessions in emergency. Otherwise that budget session, monsoon session as well as winter session are being summoned by the President only. and these are also prorogue the session by the President only. So Parliament can be called before the session or can prorogue before the session. That is in the hand of President of India. If President thinks so that it is emergency to call that meeting of Parliament, then he can call the meeting and he can summon to the Parliament. And if he thinks so that Parliament should prorogue or Parliament should dismiss for particular time period, so he can prorogue the session also. So both the powers are in the hand of President. But once again I have to mention that this is done on the advice of Prime Minister. So one more thing is there, dissolve the Lok Sabha. So if that President thinks so that Prime Minister has lost the majority and it is time for the fresh elections or midterm election, then President only declares the dissolution of Lok Sabha. He is having the authority only, no other is having the authority. So next slide we are going to move. That is nomination of members. So nomination of members means in Lok Sabha 2 members are nominated, in Rajya Sabha 12 members are nominated, and all these members are nominated by the President of India. And 2 Anglo-Indian members are nominated in Lok Sabha, and 12 members in Rajya Sabha are nominated from different fields like science, art, sports, social service, literature, any field. If President thinks so that particular person should be there as that member of Rajya Sabha, then he can appoint or he can nominate that person as the member of Rajya Sabha. For recent example, you have seen that ex-Chief Justice or former Chief Justice of Supreme Court, Mr. Ranjan Gogoi, got that membership of Rajya Sabha. So like this, members from different field, they can be appointed as the member of Rajya Sabha by President, and 2 Anglo-Indian members can also be appointed by the President. So this is the right of President in the legislature. So next one we are going to discuss point number 6, assent to bill. So while any bill or any proposal is kept in the house, that what the procedure I have already discussed in chapter number 1. So after that passing the bill in both houses, it goes to the President for assent the bill, and President is having 3 main options with him. Either he can withhold the bill, means he will not return the bill, or neither he will pass the bill. Second option is there, he can pass the bill, and third option is there that he can return the bill to that house for corrections, or for he can give that issues on which he is not satisfied, and he can give it back for with the recommendation. But second time, whenever that same bill is passed with both the houses, then President has to recommend it. At that time no authority is there with the President to withhold the bill. So he can withhold the bill, he can pass the bill, and he can send for reconsideration to the bill. But after the recommendation or after that second time when bill is passed in both houses, President cannot stop, President cannot withhold, he has to pass the bill. So I hope this point is clear to you. Assent the bill. Now we are going to discuss promulgate ordinance. So article number 1, 2, 3. Okay, I have to go on back slide. Article number 1, 2, 3 means 123 states that President can promulgate the ordinance. And why President is giving that ordinance? Suppose that Parliament is not in session, and need of time is there, that emergence or special law is needed, then President can declare the ordinance. So that power is there in the hand of President. He can give the ordinance, and ordinance is effective till when it is passed in the house. So if it is passed in the house, then that becomes the act, and if it is not passed in the house, then that it becomes null and void. So let us go through that conditions for ordinance. First condition is there, that President must be satisfied that circumstances make it necessary for him to take immediate action. So we can say so that if President thinks so that immediate action is needed for particular matter, then he can give the ordinance. So second point is there, that time when both houses of parliament are not in session. As I told you before, that when both the houses are not in session or gap is there between the sessions, and that time any emergency is there, then president can issue the ordinance. So next one we are going to discuss C point. Ordinance is promulgated should be laid down before the both houses of the parliament when they reassemble. So again I would like to tell that if ordinance is passed by that president, should be passed in both the houses within 6 weeks whenever the house are meeting. Means whenever the house are in session, then within 6 weeks the bill should be passed in the houses, then it will become an act. But if it is not being passed or disapproved by the both houses, then automatically that ordinance will become null and void. Null and void means it will be useless. So within 6 weeks that ordinance should be passed in both houses, otherwise it become useless or null and void. So last point, D point is given there, it lapse if it is replaced by an act of parliament. So if act is there or if it is passed in both houses, then it become a act, not ordinance. Ordinance is still when it is not passed in both the houses. If it is passed, then that will become an act. It will not remain ordinance. So I hope this point is clear to you. Next, 8th point we are going to discuss, that is assent to some state bills. So all the bill which is passed by the governor, in some cases it is necessary to give it to the president for consideration. So president can refuse to assent that bill which he thinks so that is not appropriate or which need a reconsideration, and bills affecting that matter such as power of high courts are reserved for consideration of the president. So some issues are there in case of boundary matters, in case of high court matters. These bills first sent to that president for assent by the governor. If after recommendation of that president only, it can be issued by the state, or it can be become an act by the state, or they can pass the bill with the permission of the president only. So I hope this point you understood. Now point number 9, last point of today, that is formation of new states. So that boundaries matter is there in the hand of president, as I told. So any state is willing to change the boundaries of the state, then it cannot be introduced without that president's recommendation. So in state assembly, if we are going to introduce a bill for changing the state boundaries or new state formation, then that bill must be approved by the president, or recommendation should be there of the president. Then only state can issue the bill. So that's all for today. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, and keep on working, because your syllabus is already clear, I think so, in history 1 to 4 chapter in history, and I think chapter number 1 in civics. So these 5 chapters are there for unit test syllabus.